What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Weekly. I'm your host, Pee Wee the Plug, and in today's episode, I have to give y'all my 5 Summer League standouts. So I did a previous video about a Summer League recap, telling y'all about my experience at Summer League with the Through the Wire guys. I talked about some rookies. I talked about the atmosphere, people we met, some highlights, some disappointments. In this particular video, I really want to dive into some of those guys that really stood out to me as far as second-year players. A lot of these rookies just getting their feet wet, and I think a lot of the time it's just a showcase for us to see how they look in the NBA game. But to me, Summer League is super, super important to second-year guys and to see the jump that they make in their game and how they were able to develop from their rookie year. So to start it off, the first guy for me, I would say, is Josh Christopher of the Houston Rockets. I love what I saw from him in Summer League. The aggression and the fierce and confidence that he played with reminds me a lot of his rookie year. I think he had a very under-the-radar rookie season, shot the ball well, defended, attacked. The playmaking has to go up, and I think it will the more he plays in attack mode. But to see him out there really being a leader, communicating to the young guys, I think it really helped them a lot when you think about the young guys that they have. They're bringing in a class of Ty Washington, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason. So to have a vocal guy who's not only played in Summer League, but actually played in the real rotation for the Rockets last year, I think took some pressure off of those guys. I mean, he was able to be leaned on throughout certain stretches and be able to communicate with certain guys, especially when you have Jabari Smith not always playing at the level that I think he expects from himself. To be able to have a voice like that to, communicate and keep them into the game was super, super good to see. And to see it up close and personal was another thing that I don't think can sometimes be taken into on TV, because you have timeouts, you have commercials, but when you're there live, you get to 24/7 see how guys are communicating in huddles, communicating on a bench, communicating to the crowd and how they're feeding off the crowd, and the little intricacies that may not jump out to you on the TV screen. And for me, a lot of those things jumped off when I saw Josh Christopher, and I really think he's going to have a very big second year, and I think he could be a very instrumental and important part of this next stage for the Houston Rockets in development in their rebuild. A lot of attention is obviously going to go to Jalen Green and Jabari Smith Jr., but I think some of these other guys are going to have to find a way to bring value without the basketball, and he, to me, stands out as a guy that can do that. I think he plays a Marcus Smart-ish role where he can be a very grimy defender. He can give you energy. He can be the heart and soul. He's going to be a communicator. I think he can lead. He can help keep guys accountable, but he also has the scoring upside to take big shots, make big shots, create some plays for other, driving downhill and attacking, and open up the lane, for perimeter shots. I think Josh Christopher is going to be a big piece for them. I can't wait to see how they utilize him in his second year, especially after seeing him play a little bit of the point guard. We know they need work and help in the backcourt from the point guard position. They're already experimented with Kevin Porter Jr., so I can't wait to see how that goes for Josh Christopher in his second year. Another guy on my list, Quentin Grimes from my New York Knicks. Quentin Grimes really stood out in the basketball world. I've been seeing the name Quentin Grimes go crazy due to some of the performances he's had, the 24 points in all 3 of the games, the shots he's been making, shots he's been taking. And what I love most about him, like I said in the previous video, is a lot of the shots and the offense that he's getting are the same type of shots and offense he's going to get in a regular season. He was a big-time shot maker for us in a rookie year when he was able to get minutes, and he had a couple of games he was able to start, and I think a lot of that helped him go into this year and kind of replicate those same shots and be a little bit more aggressive and do a lot more with the basketball. In the regular year or the regular season, sometimes he can be just an off-ball, stand in the corner or stand on a wing type of guy with RJ, Randall, IQ, Derrick Rose, all these guys handling the ball. So to be able to see him put the ball on the floor a little bit more and create plays, make plays, he had an incredible pass to Jericho Sims with the behind the head dump off. That was super, super dope. And I think this is a good time to remind people that Quentin Grimes has been that dude. Quentin Grimes was a McDonald All-American that went to Kansas. Freshman year didn't really work out the way he wanted to, and transferred to Houston and had an incredible run with them in the NCAA tournament. But Quentin Grimes is a guy that was sought after. He was a guy that was projected to be a lottery pick. So for the Knicks to be able to get him after the start of his college career not going the way he wanted it to, It's really big for us to now give him that confidence, and I'm hoping he can probably try to snatch or steal some starter minutes at that shooting guard spot, because he can play defense, he can play without the ball, but can also play with the ball. He can heat up, shoots the three, gets to the line, and I think this summer league performance is showing a little bit more of that playmaking can maybe convince Thibodeau, who already loves him, I saw in his rookie year, to maybe give him a little bit more opportunity on the offensive end. And I love that for Quentin Grimes. I think he's going to be a big part of our team in this upcoming year. I know there's a lot of speculation about the Donovan Mitchell stuff. Will we trade for him? Is he going to be our... I'm okay with Quentin Grimes. And I don't want to say it as anything against Donovan Mitchell, but I know the asking price is going to be steep, it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be pricey. And I'm okay with getting Donovan Mitchell because I ride with the Knicks and whatever they choose to do. But I'm just not a fan of overpaying for anything and any player. I don't care how good they are, unless they're a guy that comes to the team and automatically makes us a contender. And unfortunately, Donovan Mitchell isn't that. So if we don't get Donovan Mitchell, I am extremely okay with experimenting with Quentin Grimes being the starting shooting guard next to Jalen Brunson, because I think he's going to be able to feed off of Brunson, being able to get it downhill and attack, post up smaller guards and whatnot, and be able to space the floor and make those kick out 3-point shots that he's going to be able to get. And he's shooting right over guys in Summer League, man. I love the confidence he's playing with, and he stood out a lot in those 3 games with the Knicks. Moving forward, Trey Murphy III for the Pelicans, similar to Quentin Grimes, a lot of the offense and the buckets he's been getting, very reminiscent of the type of looks he's going to get for the Pelicans. And I think that's all they need from him, is to gain confidence on the offensive end. We know he can catch and shoot. We know he's lengthy and he's rangy as a defender who can guard 2 through 4 and do a lot of good things. But for him and the scoring aspect, if he continue to get aggressive and continue to get confident with his full arsenal and not just catching, shooting, but attacking like he did with some of the dunks he had, trying to create for himself, putting the ball on the deck, if they can have that type of stuff come off their bench, the Pelicans already look stacked. But if he continues to develop behind everything that's going on with CJ, Ingram, Zion, the defensive upside with Herb Jones, and then you got Trey Murphy coming off the bench, being able to score, defend, play with the ball, play without the basketball, the Pelicans are going to have a gem on their hand. I think he was one of the most slept on guys in last year's draft, and I was very, very happy to see him play the role he played in the reemergence of the Hornets, or of the Pelicans in the second half, where they made their play-in push and eventually the playoff push, and he was a big part of that. To see him in a rotation as a rookie with all the high praise I gave him, I'm hoping that he continues to build on that, because I think they have something special out there in New Orleans. Just drafting Dyson Daniels. Obviously, it's disappointing to see E.J. Liddell go down, but I think he was a good high-impact rookie that they could have had with Valanciunas. You got Zion back healthy, Jackson Hayes, Larry Nance. Pelicans have a lot, and I'm super, super happy and excited to see Trey Murphy offensively grow, because I felt like he was real stagnant coming into the league as a catch and shoot 3-and-D type of guy for Virginia. So to see him take strides, and I know it's just Summer League, you always take Summer League with a grain of salt, but I think this type of stuff is what get guys the confidence they need to really flip a switch in their second, third years to take off and be high impactful players on playoff teams like the Pelicans are projected to be. Speaking of high impactful players on playoff teams, my next guy is 2 guys on the same team, and that's Moses Moody and Jonathan Kaminga. Moses Moody, to me, is exactly Moses Moody and Jonathan Kaminga, I'll keep them clumped together for this whole part. They're exactly what you want to see from guys after their rookie year. Young guys, teenage guys, one from out of high school, one from the G League circuit. They look extremely different. Number one, from a physical aspect, Jonathan Kaminga already had an NBA body, but now Moses Moody looks a lot bigger, moves a lot more confidently, feels like he knows exactly where he needs to be to have success on the floor, and that was extremely good to see, especially from game 1. And that's what you want to see when you're a playoff team like the Golden State Warriors, who went through the playoffs, had a playoff run, went to the finals, to see your young guys now look like they've gained and developed from that, and it wasn't a waste, was very, very good to see. And I think the Warriors are going to need those guys to step up. When you look at some of the guys they lost, like Gary Payton II, Otto Porter. There's going to be roles and opportunity for these guys to now come in and do some things off the bench. They're going to be needed, and they're going to have to produce. And it looks like they're going to be in a situation where it's not going to be too much to ask for them. They look like they're prepared. They look like they're ready, and they look like they developed. And I think we have to continue to give the Warriors a bunch of credit. The Warriors are just winning with the basketball stuff, man. I mean, even James Wiseman, who we haven't seen in years, he's all the way from the Anthony Edwards LaMelo class. He looked good in the stretch that he had. And we talking about a guy who plays an important, prominent position in the front court. We're talking about 2 wing players. Like, the Warriors are looking extremely good. And we didn't even get a chance to see Patrick Baldwin or Ryan Rollins, which was disappointing. But to know that they have these guys in a way that they looked in their second years, they look head and shoulders above everybody else in Summer League. And you put that with Jordan Poole and some of the now opened up opportunities with the departures of some of the other guys that I already mentioned. I think the Warriors are going to be fun to watch, and to see this new generation of Warriors being developed under and mentored under the Curry, Clay, and Draymond regime, and to see the transition of them coming into their own while Curry and Clay and Draymond continue to, close out the rest of their careers. It's going to be a very interesting thing to see. And I hope that the Warriors cherish those guys and don't at any point try to do anything crazy as far as trade packages and different things. I've heard the Kevin Durant and stuff like that. I would keep all those guys. They have a crazy amount of talent off the bench or just away from the big 3 of Curry, Clay, and Draymond. You have Poole, Moody, Kaminga, Wiseman. And if Patrick Baldwin or Ryan Rollins could turn into anything from this draft class, that's another starting 5 that you have in the background developing. And we see how Jordan Poole turned out to be this year. They have something special working out there in Golden State, and I can't wait to see it reach its fullest potential. Josh Giddy just looks he looks good, man. Josh Giddy looks extremely good. I know it was a lot of people criticizing Josh Giddy because he didn't have some of the best shooting splits or anything like that. But again, it's important to know what players are and what's going to be expected of them in the actual seasons. Josh Giddy is not going to be asked to be a high volume scorer that he's being asked to be on Summer League. It's a Summer League roster with a bunch of young players. He's a returning player. He's going to take a bunch of shots. That's what they want him to do out there, to be aggressive and work on his game. But when the season comes around, we know that's going to be Shea's job to be the volume scorer and the volume shooter. Josh Giddy is to be a floor general who puts pressure on the defense and takes advantage of whatever the defense gives him. So when I saw him put somebody on a poster, even though it wasn't in the Vegas Summer League, I was still like, whoa, that's exactly what I want to see. You want to see Josh Giddy be able to drive downhill, attack, and make defenses pay. You want to see Josh Giddy be able to catch the ball and shoot whenever someone else around him makes the defense collapse. As long as he can be respectable as a threat from the perimeter and on the interior when he's doing his dribble drive penetration, is going to continue to open up passing opportunities for him, and that's his bread and butter. And playing alongside a guy like Chet now, J-Dub, Ousmane Dieng, Trey Mann, Shai Gilgeous, Lou Dort, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, all of these names, Darius Baisley, he's going to make a lot of plays for this team. They have three-point threats, lob threats. They got guys who just kick it out and they can make their own play like Shai. They're going to be a very, very exciting team. And because of what I saw, it makes me fully confident and believe that he's going to be able to be that driving engine and point guard that they're going to need, because I think it's going to help a lot for Shai to be able to just go out there and be the scorer and not have to really worry about the combo guard responsibility of when to score, when not to score. And I think a lot of these other young guys are going to be able to get some swagger and some confidence early because they're out there with Josh Giddy. And to see the relationship him and Chet are forming together, I think was super, super dope when they were out there in Salt Lake City. So I'm looking for that to transpire and continue to keep rolling into the regular season. And it's going to be an interesting year for the Thunder. I don't know if they're ready to compete, but I think they are going to be better than what we've been used to seeing from them. Not saying that they're a playoff team or anything like that. I think they're still one more year away from that. But I think they are treading in the right direction to start playing competitive basketball and not shutting down these exciting talents that they have midway during the season. So we had Quentin Grimes, Trey Murphy, Josh Christopher, Moses Moody, and Kaminga, and then we also had Josh Giddy. Those are my 5 Summer League standouts. I know it's a bunch of other guys that you can name. And I want y'all to leave those names down in the comments. Don't just give me names, man. I want y'all to tell me what y'all saw and what y'all was impressed with and what really stood out from y'all from a true basketball standpoint. Like I said, it's always going to be the thing of taking everything from Summer League with a grain of salt. We've seen a bunch of guys dominate the Summer League, win Summer League MVP, average 30 points, and then the regular season come when they're not even on a team, or they're on a team and they can't even buy minutes. So I don't try to take too much into the numbers, though I do think the numbers are somewhat important and impressive. There's, like I said, there's a balance to have, and there's a grain of salt to take with everything. So let me know who stood out to y'all. And I also want to know who were some guys that disappointed y'all. Who were some guys, as far as second-year players, that you expected big jumps from, or you wanted to see something significant, and you really didn't get that? Let me know in the comments. This is NBA Weekly. I am Pee Wee the Plug. As always, I will see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.